All right, today we're going to jump back into the Bitcoin price action, the crypto market overall. And as expected, we talked about this in my last video. Going into the weekend, it's Saturday right now, so don't expect too much volatility on the charts. But there is some stuff I want to talk about, mainly outside of the charts as we get ready for September. There's a lot of bears in the market right now. If you go to my comments from yesterday's video, there's more bearish sentiment than I have ever seen since I started this YouTube channel. And that's a telltale sign to me that the low is either in or it's almost in, and I don't think we're going to get to prices people are wanting. I see a lot of bears wanting for lower prices. It seems like people have slowly started to sell their spot bags looking for a dip in September. They're planning to buy a capitulation event, or they just think the top is in and we're going downhill from here. And when I see that kind of sentiment in the market, I get very, very excited because, as we all know, Bitcoin likes to wrong foot the majority, and if everybody is looking for a lower, probably not going to see lower. Of course, though, it is just probabilities, and I wouldn't be too surprised to actually go lower here, but I don't think we're going to go too much lower. If we were, I would say a sweep of this liquidity back here at 55 at 900. That's probably the best prices you're going to get, into these big buy walls, filling those inefficiencies in the chart. That is something I wouldn't be too surprised to see. I also wouldn't be too surprised to see a 52,500 sweep, or even a sweep of the sweep, because this whale is still in the order books right around $47,000. This has been in here for quite some time. Thousands of Bitcoin down here looking to scoop up lower prices, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see that either. But I saw a lot of people calling for under $40,000. We're going back to the bear market range, and yes, if you think we're going into a recession and that's going to play out, unemployment is going to go up, etc., yes, that is a valid case to be made. I'm not saying you're wrong, but if you are bullish on the long term, you think we're going into a 2025 bull market, which I actually don't think we're going to do, then yeah, this right here is the range you're looking to find support. Not anything lower necessarily. I think this is where you're looking to scoop up positions, starting with where price is currently at, and I am still keeping my case that I think the low has a very good chance of already being in. I think this was structurally sound, very clear failed auction below some liquidity, and with what sentiment's telling me, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we do just cruise on up here going into next week. And I want to talk about next week, the whole month of September, in just a second, but I did bring up how I don't think the top's going to be in 2025. I actually think it's going to be this year. So I have a different thesis than some people out there. I know a lot of people have the same kind of idea, more of a left translated cycle, you could say, and that is simply due to some of our recessionary indicators, such as unemployment rate, inverted yield curve, along with election season. A lot of things point to a top coming in sooner rather than later. But of course, I'm up to be proven wrong. I'm pretty much only right 50% of the time in the market anyway. You really can't predict things. It's all just having the risk to reward in your favor. But yeah, assuming we do get a burst up in here, maybe even during the month of September, maybe, later on, October, November, something like this into Q4 of 2024, I do think you're going to see a lot of people flip bullish once again, just like they were back up here at the highs. I'm always surprised how easily sentiment is flipped here in the crypto markets. People are very emotionally driven and will flip on a dime, so don't be surprised at all. We come up here, everyone's going to be calling for $500,000, at least $100,000 plus on Bitcoin, because I think a lot of people are hoping for those prices, those six-figure targets, and I have remained cautiously optimistic. While I do think that stuff is possible, if we see structural edge for a short up here, such as swing failure pattern deviation back with inside this range, I think this is where your top's actually going to come in. I think it's going to be in Q4 of 2024, and I think this is the distribution that we have been making throughout this range. This will be an upthrust after distribution to grab this topside liquidity in here, and this is where we go ahead and enter the bear market. So yeah, that's my base case. That's what I'm expecting to happen, but of course a hypothesis is just that, and we will have to take stuff day by day to get more data as price forms, and I will be keeping everyone updated as my thoughts change, because I'm sure they will change. But now that you guys know my thesis, if you haven't heard it already, let's talk about the month of September. So we go to CoinGlass over here, look at Bitcoin monthly average returns, and you can see September has had some pretty red months. Between 2017 and 2022, we never printed a green month there, but nothing super conclusive here. Even last year we had a green month of September. So do I expect September to be red? No, actually, I don't. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy, because we've never had really great gains in September. All of the great gains have come October, November. Could just chop around kind of where we are. Wouldn't be surprised if we do just kind of chop here, Don't expect anything wild, but I do think we'll print a couple percents in the green, and then coming into October or November, these will be the big months in my opinion. You look at these months historically, October, 30%, 5%, 40%, 30% again, 10%. You had one red month in 2018, but then you had 50% in 2017, 15%, 33%, another negative month in 2014, and then a whole 60% in 2013. So this could be a huge month for Bitcoin, and I would not be surprised to see another 20-30% rally for the month of October. November, same situation. This could also be pretty good just based on historical data. I mean, we went up 500% in 2013. This is where the bull runs really kind of get going. And I wouldn't be surprised to see history repeat, especially because it is an election season. In 2020, we had 60% during these 2 months. And then in 2016, we had 20% within these 2 months. So we've never had an election season be negative. So yeah, overall, while I don't really care too much about previous monthly returns, I think this is more or less crystal ball magic. Is it really going to play out? Who really knows? This is kind of just a guessing game. I do think seasonally that we are getting to points where Bitcoin does like to go parabolic sometimes, and with election season, that's a nice confluence for that to actually play out. And then I don't really think September is going to be this big bearish month. I mean, you just look at the percentages here, and actually recently August has been a worst month for us. So I think most of the downside has already been dealt with, and I am pretty bullish for the coming months. But of course, if what I think is going to come true, then, we still do have to be cautious because the top's going to come in sooner than most think, and we're probably not going to have this big super cycle into 2025. Of course, up to be proven wrong, we might see a fractal of 2020 actually play out here, because you see the fractal is very similar, descending channel, and then we go ahead, break out, super cycle. Could we see a similar thing here? Definitely could. Only time will tell though. Jumping in here to the shorter term time frames on Bitcoin, we talked about this point of control in yesterday's video. We want to flip this into support. So far we have rejected off of it, but nothing too conclusive. Let's see where we close this day. Still got a couple hours left on this. If we can close above, that's going to be looking really good for the low being in, but still just kind of in the middle of a range on the weekend. Who really knows what price is going to do? We got to wait for next week's open. Total 3, similar situation here. We rejected the point of control that we wanted to get back above and hold, but all is not lost yet. We're still holding the wick low. This is just a bit of a retracement. We just want to make sure we're holding this golden pocket, and then we'll watch to see if we can get back over point of control, which would signal strength on the altcoin market, sending us back up to potentially what we need to flip into support for the altcoin season. So we'll see how this plays out. So far, nothing too concerning over here when it comes to the altcoins. But yeah, that's going to be all for today's video. Just wanted to kind of rehash my thesis, talk about the bearish sentiment we got going on in the markets and why my case remains pretty bullish for the short-term future here on Bitcoin. But if you do have any questions about anything I talked about, make sure to join my Discord. First link in the description down below. Also have a VIP Discord. It's specifically for leveraged trading, but I am trying to provide as much value as possible. It's an educational group, not a signals group, so go check that out if you're at all interested. Oh, and by the way, that VIP group has a new discount. It's the same code EAGLE, and it is now 25% off, so you can still get a $10 discount if you want to go ahead and sign up for that. Also got more links below that, which are my exchange partners, so definitely go check out some of those exchanges if you want some bonuses and rewards exclusive to those that use my referral link. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.